My entitled landlord tried to deny giving back our deposit we put down on his apartment, as he tried to trick us into signing legal forms that would have gotten us into a lot of trouble if we had actually gone through with it, putting me and my wife in a situation that honestly we wish we never had to experience. Here's what happened. Okay, to start things out, this happened outside the United States. We rented an apartment for more than 7 years while saving up for a house, and we had to put down 25% down due to not being a citizen. In that time, our landlord never fixed anything and was just generally a typical male boss archetype. He ordered my wife around, looked at our mail, and tried to smoke in our non-smoking house. We had found a place under construction but needed 6 more months for it to be ready. But then he decided to sell the place before our lease was up. In order to placate him, we let agents show the apartment while we were still living there. As tenants, we have the right to refuse while under the lease, but we're just trying to keep him happy for as long as possible. And let me tell you something, the agents were awful. They were taking pictures of my family pictures, asking questions, taking videos, opening pantries, touching our stuff, all of which were prohibited under our agreement. Then they tried to host an open house without telling us. I had to take many deep breaths to keep me from throttling more than one agent. The house finally sold and we were given a month to get out. And this is legal here without much recourse. But thankfully we found a temporary rental and got out within the time frame. We hadn't gotten our deposit back and the landlord said he wanted to meet with my wife to sign some paperwork, but I denied his request and I told him to meet with me and email the papers to my wife and she can translate them. And for reference, the papers were in Chinese. Now here's the best part about all this. The papers he wanted us to sign were actually legal forms, and these forms were saying that we had not paid rent in like 7+ years that we had lived there and we had stayed there for free out of the goodness of his heart. And when I saw this, I was gobsmacked. My wife is an accountant and works in banking and knew that lying on this form was perjury and punishable up to 7 years in detention. Well, when we saw this, we refused to sign, and his response was sending a text saying that he wouldn't give us back our deposit, which he'd already agreed to do in writing unless we signed the form. We then responded by telling him that we would never sign the form and that we had forwarded our communication to the tax office. Well, as you can probably imagine, the entire deposit was wired to our bank account within the hour, and thankfully we never heard from him ever again. But the icing on the cake is that the sale fell through, and his apartment still sits empty because he owes taxes somewhere in the neighborhood of like $15,000. We're now in our new house and we are loving life, especially since we got away from our psycho landlord who tried to screw us over in probably the worst way possible.